Get on.
Yeah.
This is the line, and we are back for another episode of 48 Long Book Study. Breaking it down chapter by chapter just for y'all. I don't care where you are, if you at the beach, you at the lake, you in the Gulf, you in the Pacific, the Atlantic, you in your lakefront property, you at the pond, you on the banks of the river. I don't care if you're at the Great Muddy or the Right Now River Valley. We are here live, and you can join us this Thursday night with none other than Doc. What's going on, big brother?
Yo, man, I tell you what, wherever they at, they gonna be, and they got to be here. And
right.
Special shout out to the OG. Say we in the house tonight.
Well, the OG is always here. We appreciate him every time. And we just gonna welcome him back in every week as we always do. And I am glad to be back doing these finishing up. We kind of wrapping this thing up, Doc.
Man, look, it's been a minute. We done been on this since January.
Yeah.
January.
Look, man, this book deep, man. I'm glad we took our time with it. I learned a lot about the book. I learned a lot about our timing and how we want to do these things and where to focus the energy and time. It's been a great experience for me overall, from the actual book study portion to just get familiarizing ourselves, getting in front of this camera every week. Man, I think we come a long way, brother.
Oh, yeah, man, definitely. And, for me, it was remember, I think you said it a couple weeks ago about how they have some defensive and some offensive laws, and and learning about those defensive laws. I think that's where a lot of people was mistaken. They see this and say, "Oh, it's for narcissists. It's for people to take advantage of stuff." But it's for you to see when the stuff is happening to you.
Yep,
you can get through that.
I think you really have to take that mindset with it, because some of these things, I agree. You may, as a person, find them unethical.
Mm-hmm.
You may find them a little bit underhanded, but you're doing yourself a disservice to not know when to recognize it.
Yeah, or when they're happening to you. Like,
right.
I know every time we get on this thing, man, I mean, everybody know by now that my main weakness is them timeshares,
right.
and this is all the stuff they use in the timeshares. I mean, it's there.
Yeah. These things are you 40 laws of power using sales every single day in your workplace. Almost anything you do, you can see one of these laws or multiple of these laws being applied to get you to do somebody else, getting you to do what they want you to do instead of what you may have had your initial mind to do.
And what's funny is the conversations that I have with people. These laws always come out when I'm talking to them. Matter of fact, before we went on, I was talking to my wife and daughter, and the law we talked about today came up in that conversation with something they was talking about.
See?
Stuff is relevant.
And one of the things I'm applying myself is, I forget which law it was, but the one about pace, making the person work at your pace.
Yeah, timing. It was the one about timing.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it is so subtle, because a person could feel like they are getting something done faster, but meanwhile you getting them to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Or not do what you want them to do. There's a lot of laws you can do and apply in a lot of different ways, man. And I think a person has to.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like this is almost a must read.
Yeah, you got to. It had to be a reason why every time you see the rich and powerful people, this is one of the books they always talk about.
Right.
All the time. But why?
Oh,
this is why.
It's clear to me why. It's clear to me why now.
Yeah.
It's very clear to me. At any level in life, I don't care if you a bagger at the grocery store to the CEO of a company. These things are going on around you, whether you like it or not. And you better be able to recognize it and make it happen.
That's the quote from the beginning. On our very first show, Machiavelli. Even though you are not the evil or the bad person, everybody else around you is using those tactics. So you need to become familiar with them, and that's what this is talking about.
And I think you and I have both pointed out instances in our regular everyday life where we have had these laws used against us, as well as we've used them whether we knew it at the time or not.
Yeah. Yeah, just a way of doing things.
Right. And I know I have sat here and said, man, I wish I understood what was happening to me
Yeah, that's
at the
it.
time.
That's it. I give you some horns for that one because
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yep. So we're here. It's Thursday night. We got 2 more chapters for the people. What we got for them tonight, Doc?
All right, law number 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Man, this one, the more I read it, it's to me, it teaching me how to teach my son,
Yes.
how to
I
teach
agree
him.
with that. I agree. It's definitely, this is the chapter for a father.
Yeah.
Because, at least in my opinion, I've always wanted my son to surpass me.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things in this chapter are about fathers that don't want their children to
Yeah.
surpass them. And I guess it would have to do with whatever level of greatness you achieve or power. But
Mhm.
I and maybe it's just as African Americans, we raised under kind of a different
And
process. Because, for example, take Black Panther. What did he
yeah.
say? A father who has not prepared his children for his death
Uh-huh.
has failed as a father. And if
Mhm.
whatever your job is, if you're a king and you have a
Yeah.
son, and it's likely he will follow in your footsteps, to not prepare your son to be king and to be a better king than you is a failure.
Well, I'll tell you this, for me personally, I wanted to prepare my whole family in
Yeah,
the event that I'm not here.
right,
So when I first got married, I showed my wife all these things she didn't know how to do, like automotive things, how to do this and that. I mean, all the little things, like changing the tire on the car. You know, she
right,
knew how, but we went through it because I don't want her to be helpless if I'm not there.
right,
I don't want my kids to be helpless if I'm not there. So we show them these things, and
right.
that's let's jump in this thing, man.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Judgment. He always write a judgment at the beginning of the chapter. Robert Greene always write this thing just to kind of sum up what's about to happen.
Right.
Um,
Introduction, so to speak.
yeah. We can put it like that. That's a better choice of words. But in this one, I only highlighted one sentence. Well, two
Okay.
sentences. Do not get lost in their shadow or stuck in a past not of your own making. Establish your own name and identity by changing course.
And I agree wholeheartedly with that. We all have to forge our own path in the world. However, he says later on to I guess look. I'm not sure how he says it. You may have had it highlighted where he says, "Don't." It's never a good idea to not take an inheritance or something like that.
Yeah. If it's powerful,
Right.
you should
Only a
take that
fool. Yeah,
on.
only a fool would turn down an inheritance,
Yes,
which is
but you
true.
still can make it your own. You
Right.
know the note I wrote on this one right at the very beginning. A lesson for your sons. Tell them to be themselves, not you.
Yep. And I think the lesson for fathers is help them find themselves, not
Yeah,
raise them to be just like you.
yeah,
And I think what happens is a lot of us as fathers, especially as we build more,
hmm,
and it talks out in the chat that we say to ourselves, "Oh, the way I did it works.
yeah,
I'm not. I don't need my son to reinvent the wheel. I already figured it out for him. I can make this easy for him. All I got to do is teach him to do stuff the way I did it. He can have a nice, easier life because he won't have to do all the hard work I did. He can just smooth on through it. But you're doing your son a disservice,
no. Well, and also they not you.
right?
My son taught me that a long time ago. I tell everybody in terms of sheer intelligence, he got me beat by a long shot. Like it's it's not even funny no more. He made me feel dumb sometimes because he think real fast, but he don't have certain things that I have. So if I try to make him walk down my path, even though he's smart, he still can't do it like I did it. He got to find his own way.
Right. Well, that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom
Mm-hmm.
that you're talking about with your son. He's smart. He has information, but he's young, so he doesn't have any wisdom yet. And a man like yourself should. That's one of the things we have to teach our children
Yeah,
is that difference. Because
that's
like
true.
you, my son is, he's gifted
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. But I have to check myself at the door when I say, yes, he's smart. And he's smart for a 10-year-old, and he's smart for whatever his
Yeah,
age group is. But he does not have the wisdom of time
that's
and how
right.
to manage himself properly in the world. And that's my job.
Got to cultivate that.
Right.
Think about, I'm looking at this part. You talked about Louis the 15th in the
Mm-hmm.
chapter, and Louis the 14th, Louis the 15th, and how Louis the 15th had to walk in his dad's shadow.
Right.
But I skip all the way down past that, and I highlighted this. It would seem easy for a son or a successor to build on the grand foundation left for them. But in the realm of power, the opposite is true.
Mm-hmm.
The pampered, indulged son always squanders the inheritance, for he does not start with the father's need to fill a void. He didn't have to get it. He didn't have to make it work because
Right.
it's already working.
Right.
And
He,
that's
he
what
didn't have, he didn't have that grind. He didn't have that hustle. He was
no.
he don't know how to get it out the mud, so to speak.
he because we made it better for them.
Right.
And that's one thing we always say, make it better for our children. Have our children not have to go through the things we had to go through. We always say that. And this is the byproduct of that. So I think you have to be intentional with how you do these things.
I think it's a guy. I don't know what the name of the guy is, but he says, um, my grandfather walked,
Mhm.
and he said, I drove a Cadillac. He said, my grandfather walked, or he said, my daddy walked.
Mhm.
I'm going to drive a Cadillac. My son will drive a Lamborghini, but my grandson will be walking again.
Yes, that's it. I saw that one. And that could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
they get used to doing it, get used to
Mm.
having. So I think we should guide them in a way where they can find their own path, like you said, to
Yeah.
avoid that. He said in the book right after that, as Machiavelli states, necessity is what impels men to take action. And
Yeah.
once necessity is gone, only rot and decay are left. You do it because you have to.
Right.
I got to
And
do this.
well, further along in the chapter, we're going to start talking about Alexander, who we all know historically as Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander of Macedonia. Actually, one of my favorite characters from history, so much to the point where I hate the movie Alexander that starred Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I hate the film
Mm-hmm.
because I don't feel like it did my boy no service.
Uh-uh.
It was really trash. And really, I think that's why Colin Farrell fell off, because he just did a trash version of Alexander. And the world was like, how you going out here and mess up Alexander?
All right, let's look at this. What OG said. All we can do is show them the tools to succeed and the wisdom we have experienced in solving their problems. Teach them to learn as much as you can from other people's mistakes.
Yes, sir. And that's one of the laws. That is one of the laws.
Yes, it is.
Learn from
That's
other
it.
people's mistakes. Yeah. And he's
I mean,
absolutely correct.
mhm,
OG here for a reason.
mhm.
Yeah. So it's just, you have to, as a parent, as a father, you have to walk that fine line between, those three P's: protect,
Mhm.
prepare, and provide. And in the case of powerful men,
Right.
you have to realize that what that child has seen and prepare him for what's coming.
That's true. But you know what? I always try to think of the reverse of this stuff.
Okay.
How do I fall into this?
Hmm.
And when I think about my dad, those some big old shoes to fill. My
Right.
my feet ain't big enough to even try them on. I'm telling you. Even though he's smaller than me, and his foot size, actual shoe size is smaller, but good grief. And this made it all clear because he did stuff because he had to. I
Right.
remember seeing my dad replace our roof on the weekends when he was off from his job. He did that because he had to, because he didn't
Right.
have a lot of money like that. You know, my mom was sick.
Yeah.
So he had to. I mean, they knew how to do stuff because they was raised like that, but he had to do it. He had to know how to
Right.
work on cars and then do all this stuff. And I mean, I can do it, but my gift is somewhere else.
Right.
And it's not falling in line with his, but it's somewhere else.
Well, that's just because your pops did a good job, man. He did a job. He did the job of teaching you the things that he valued, that he knew you could use in life, while also helping you, chase the things you really, really love, and pushing you and encouraging through that. And that's just further to state how great a man he is by having the ability to do that. You can learn a lot, and you have learned a lot from watching him do that. That's why you do what you do with your son. You realize that you have a certain set of skills. Your son has a different set of skills.
Yeah.
So you teach him the things that he needs to have, so he can take care of himself and manage himself and go out here and be effective in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you also know he has to chase his own skill set.
That's right. Find his own way.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's the biggest lesson. Let people find their own. Well, no, find your own way.
Right.
And let other people find their own way.
Correct. And I really feel like in some of these stories told in this chapter, what you have, that butt up that you have in a lot of these chapters is fathers who are, or large people who are larger than life, who are just stern in their setting. And actually, I think a lot of fear in being replaced.
Yes. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
But humans are the only creature who go out of their way to create their replacement. You know what I'm saying? Like we raise, we fight hard for the right to mate, just to build our replacement as well as we can.
I'm laughing because all right, here go the nerdy Star Wars reference. With the Sith, that's the evil people with the red lightsabers.
Right.
Can only be one master at a time.
Right.
How the Jedi's had a bunch of masters. Sith only have one. So eventually, whoever the apprentice is got to kill the master.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. He got to kill the master at some point. Looking at this thing, he says power depends on appearing larger than other people. And when you are lost in the shadow of the Father, the King, the great predecessor, you cannot possibly project such a presence. You lose your power trying to be like somebody else.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You have to. I'm going to try to apply this to, and I don't mean any disrespect to the individual I'm going to speak of, but I think the reason when we talk about basketball and we talk about the greatest of all time, one of the largest reasons we don't talk about Kobe as that guy is because he was so much like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I can probably follow that. I mean, I probably can.
When you put what he did, with the 5 championships and some of the teams, those last 2 championships, I think his last 2 championships were better than any of Jordan's 6. But we don't talk about it because we like, it's the same guy.
Right. Because they had the same fall away, the same. He used to. I mean, all of us did that. Everybody used to be like Jordan, and then they do whatever. So yeah, people patterned their game after that. But here's another way to look at this. This is important for business people.
Yes.
Whatever you're doing, entrepreneurial wise, or if you're trying to do stuff for attention, he talks about placing yourself where there is a vacuum of power. And we just established that power depends on appearing larger than other people. So do something that not that many people doing.
Right.
For example, if I wanted to make some money, I'm not gonna lie, I should do this. If I sold women's jewelry online, doing live streams, and I'm selling it, I would probably make a lot of money.
Right.
Because it's different. Dudes don't sell women's jewelry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you place yourself where there is no one else there.
Yeah. I mean, you take somebody we talk about all the time. Take Kevin Samuels. The
Mm-hmm.
reason he was able to rise the way he did was because it wasn't a lot of men telling women they need to tighten up.
No, he did something different.
Did something different, and it took off. I mean, we're not going to discount his style and charisma and his
Yeah, and
delivery.
all of that.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
all of that was A1, but it was just that he was in a lane nobody else had been in, and it was just highly effective and highly popular.
You know what I told my kids when they started school and started going to school. You know, I'm a teacher, so I've been in the game a long time. I told them school is easy. Just do the work and don't make a big fuss.
That's it.
Because now this is where it connects to this. The vacuum of power, honestly, in kids is all these kids misbehave at the school.
Right.
A whole bunch of them. But if you're the one not doing that, see,
Stand
you in
out.
that vacuum of power.
Yep.
You can get and do anything you want to do.
Anything.
And
Get away with murder almost.
oh yeah.
On this last day, all kind of if you get known as the good kid, what you know what you do get forgiveness.
Oh yeah. You must
Because
yeah.
if you known as the good kid,
Mhm.
and the one time you do something, it's forgiven.
Exactly.
When you known as the bad kid, every little thing you do, it just get worse and worse. Regardless of
for
how
sure.
big it is, it could be something smaller than the last thing you did, it still get worse.
You know, my professor told me it's not the thing that you just did that got you in trouble.
Nope.
It's all the things you did before that.
Right.
If you don't have anything before that, golden.
Right. Normally it'll smooth on out. You know, back to what we said before, reputation.
You got to and that's one of those. So we got to maintain our reputation. Do
at all
whatever
costs.
we can to maintain that.
At all costs.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Protect your reputation at all costs.
You know, one thing my dad used to tell me, he said, all you have is your name.
Yep.
Your name means something. And he wasn't talking about the name I put on the paper. He was talking about the name that I'm known as.
Yeah. Oh, that you know what we call that face value.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. It still is, but you know, your face got to be good in the street.
Yeah.
You know, when people hear your name and see your face, they say, "Oh yeah, but that's a good man right there. That he good for it."
Exactly. But then, if that's the case, if we know how important that is, and everybody else know how important that is, how come we still have men out there that still call themselves goons, still saying they gutter this and that? They still doing all of this stuff, but they want to be good.
Because it's the realm you deal in.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can care about your name, because I can give you my own personal life.
Mm.
I've had areas in my personal life where I care greatly about my name.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the job or the situation I was in at the time, I didn't care about my name in the professional life. Because I was like, my work speaks for itself. I don't care what you think about me. My work speaks for itself. But
right.
It's never that.
Mm-hmm.
It's never that. It's always a combination of both of them. So a person could say they're a goon or they gutter because they care about their name in the street.
Right.
And they don't have that, and they don't place the value on their name in another realm. So I think that's the biggest issue why you have that. I care about my name in the street or amongst this group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't spend enough time with, or I don't place enough value on somebody else or this other thing, even though it matters all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. You know, for me, my name got to be good in all realms, everywhere, 24/7. There's no room for error. None.
And we should all want to maintain that. But just some people just don't, because of the lifestyle they live, it's not imperative to them. They ain't read the book.
Like I really believe that if people want to get better, because we say it, but they don't do it. You got to care about who you are everywhere.
All the time.
You do. And it's vital. But look at this. I highlighted this part, and this I guess I connect this back to some 80s cartoons, man. There was one, I think Optimus Prime said it. He said that he will not become the thing that he hates. And here, and what Robert Greene wrote is, as the young rebel grows older, his struggle against the father often wanes, but he gradually comes to resemble the very man he wanted to defy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, let's go back. OG said the only two places my name means anything is my home and my job. I can care less what anyone thinks outside of that. And you know, and that's a good place to be. Some people be like that, but a lot of times we represent things that we don't know we represent.
Right.
And for me, knowing what I do, I'm telling y'all, I'm in the church. I do all of this stuff. But if y'all see me on a live stream cussing somebody out, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't. Because people are looking to me for some kind of example all the time. And I mean, honestly, I think we all are like that.
Yeah.
Even though we don't realize it.
That's the thing. We don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we tell ourselves, oh, it don't matter over there.
Mm-hmm.
Until we have to go over there.
Yeah.
And so, for example, people who don't take their credit seriously.
Oh.
Until it's time to go get something.
Hey, that's true. Break your heart, boy. They be like, your credit score 500.
Yeah. You go in there with your pocket full of money, but still can't get nothing.
Boy, look at here. Yep, you're going to want that charger. You're going to pay $900 a month for 2015.
You see what I'm saying? Get ugly out here.
But I guess what I'm getting to, but he said the church is my home / profession. You could kind of say that. But I guess for me personally, and I know my viewpoint and my example is much different than everybody else's. It's much different. There is a thing where people say, letting my light shine, right? Mm-hmm. We've all heard of that. Or they say, I want to let the Jesus shine in me. Now, the way you do that is not going out and shouting people down and directly preaching to them, but it's how you carry yourself and how you deal with certain situations. Because the thing about a light, even if it's a small candle light, it can still illuminate the darkest room.
Yep.
It stands out. So if you have that light going, you're going to stand out everywhere. And I've seen it, like, even, and I know, again, this is my profession, you know, like you say, the job. And when I'm at school, the kids watch me to see how I deal with other unruly kids. And they come up to me and say, yeah, Doc, I was watching you. And you didn't even get mad. I would have did all this, but you didn't do that. And then that opened the door for me to say, nah, that's not how you deal with situations.
Right.
And people on the street watch us like that. But again, that's me. You know, my thing is different. But OG, I see what you're talking about, because I mean, with you ain't, all you do is go to work and be home. You be out there working them long hours and come home and cook those scrumptious meals and take care of his family.
OG gets down. OG gets down, man. He got me out. He's stepping my grill game up.
Man, look.
Trying to get
like, you know him. What? I'm going to have to get him on. We're going to have to do a little cooking show. Man, I might have to do that. We have to do a cooking show with OG.
That'll work.
Oh, man. But see, he try to be, he just say, thank you. Yeah. Okay. He be trying to be modest. But the thing is, now what I want to talk about this one, about how he gradually becomes to resemble the man he wanted to defy.
Right.
Oh, shoot. He say, let's do it. Cooking with OG. I done gave you the title.
There it
You
is.
can do it with your phone. You can have Miss OG film it, and then there y'all go. I edit it for you to send it to me.
There it is.
but yeah, you turn into the man you wanted to defy.
Yeah.
You turn into that thing.
First off, it's clear we almost all inevitably become our parents.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree. You may not fully become, but there's a whole series of commercials at Progressive about people becoming their parents.
Yeah, like old people. You don't have to print the internet.
Yeah. So, because it's true, we in some way, shape, or form, because eventually the business of life happens, and you have to handle that business.
Yeah.
But we all have to be cognizant of holding on to the things that make us us, that make you an individual, even if it is within a framework that may resemble your parents or your mentors or your teachers along the way. We're all going to take bits and pieces of the people we deal with throughout life.
But that's why it's important to have different mentors, several different mentors for everything that you want to improve. So, and that necessarily don't mean somebody that's older than you.
No, it doesn't.
Because when you have all those mentors, you pull in from all of them.
Right. A mentor can be a mentor in just one thing.
Yeah.
And it can be somebody 15 years old that can show you something you never saw before.
Oh, I get that all the time.
Exactly.
I do it all the time.
So it just depends on what you're doing. But as far as this right here, avoid stepping to a great. This happens in sports a lot.
Yeah.
The former quarterback retires or goes to a new team, and the young guy has big shoes to fill, and oftentimes it doesn't work out. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is rare when you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't happen a lot. Pittsburgh about to go through that right now. Big Ben is gone. What they gonna do now? So it's not easy to come in after someone has done something great. I think you have to don't try to be that person. Just be the best version of yourself.
That's right. Now, in terms of mentors, I got a bunch of them. I mean, even my own homeboys. I had a good conversation with one of my homeboys this morning. He puts a lot of good knowledge in my ear about things we need to do to move forward. Like, yeah, you need to do it. So we own it. But earlier you was talking about Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
And his father. Now here is something about his father. The father, what basically say when a man like this, which is like Alexander's father, has a son, he becomes domineering and oppressive, imposing his lessons on the son, who is starting off life in circumstances totally different than those in which the father himself began. Instead of allowing the son to go in a new direction, the father will try to put him in his own shoes, perhaps secretly wishing the boy would fail, as Philip half wanted to see Alexander thrown from the Bucephalus. Want to see him killed. I don't know, probably didn't even say that right, but it don't matter. The point is,
you're talking about the horse. Tell me, it's a horse, people.
Oh my bad. Hey, but the truth is, and that's the thing though. I mean, I've seen that.
Right.
Where people want to teach their sons so bad till they become domineering and oppressive, to make them learn to prepare for something that they don't have to deal with.
Well, I think the shortcoming comes in, and they talk about it in the chapter, like I said, this worked. I know this worked. I learned these lessons. I was successful. I built something. I'm going to teach them the same lessons I learned. The difference, like they said, in which I think a lot of fathers miss out on, is the starting point
Yeah.
is so drastically different. If you
Mm-hmm.
were if you come from a poor family and you've made yourself wealthy, your children you have the reference of poor. They
Yeah.
don't.
They don't have to do any of that.
They don't have the struggle. They don't remember. They don't have like I have in the back of my head that damn jar of mustard, which I'll talk about later. They don't have that in the back of their head.
Uh-huh.
They don't have that in the back of their head. Everything I do with that in the back of my head. I know I got to make this work because I'm not going to ever have my children wake up in the morning and have nothing to eat in the house with a damn jar of mustard. I'm not going to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
My children don't have that.
Nope.
So I have to you have to build that same, I'm going to make this happen, but you have to find a different way to give it to your children.
So what you're saying is I don't have to teach my kids how to make bologna sandwiches unless they want to, because I ain't got to eat no bologna.
I ain't buying no bologna.
Okay.
If they want to. My kids don't eat no bologna. I ain't buying no bologna no more. I'm not going to choose meat market and getting the thick bologna and have to cut it myself. I'm not doing it. I don't work too hard.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
But
no spam, no sardines. My kids ain't none of that stuff.
No, they don't have to.
They don't have to. I work.
They
hard.
don't have to.
I tell this story all the time. My mother who raised me removed us from poverty.
Mm-hmm.
I have put us in the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
My son will take us to space.
Yeah.
That is what I'm after.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. That is the truth. So, I mean, but you know what, though? I think this is the mistake. We can use what we've been through and the things that made us to teach them, but we have to teach it in a way where they're learning a specific lesson.
Right.
And by that, I mean being resilient or being creative, being able to make something out of nothing.
Right.
Because to them, it looks different. And that's what's happening these days with these kids. Stuff is different.
Yep.
Like it's the same stuff, but it looked different.
Yep.
Because they got to know how to navigate stuff online. They got to communicate stuff through TikTok. I'm for real, man. That's crazy.
It's a whole new world.
So yeah, we gotta teach them that. So and here, he said, now the son will never step out of his father's shadow unless he adopts the ruthless strategy of Alexander. Disparage the past, create your own kingdom, put the father in the shadows instead of letting him do the same to you. When your son, I'm just going to expand it and say, when your kids branch off and start doing their own thing, let them do it.
Yep.
There are some people that will keep them from doing things. What you doing that for? You ain't got to do that. Why are you buying that house? You ain't got to buy no house. You can just stay over there in Chatham Villa or whatever.
Listen, my children's success will dwarf my own. Mm-hmm. To me, that's success. That's real success is when how many other people, especially your children, can you make successful?
Yeah.
My children, I want my children to, I want them to do whatever I do, whatever I finish up accomplishing in life, I wish for them to accomplish more by 10. And I really feel like this chapter is a lot about avoid stepping into the great man's shoes and how to navigate that. I think for myself, maybe for a young man reading this, he may see it that way. For me, I see it as a lesson for me as a father.
Yes. They go both ways, man. The coin got two sides.
Understand that you cast a shadow. Simply by being a father, you cast a shadow on your child.
Yeah.
On your children, on your son. And
all right, Mr. Larry in the house.
What's going on? And you have to realize you cast that shadow, and you have to be willing to move to the left or the right to let your son get some light.
Yeah, and there are people like that try to hold these kids down because they don't understand it. Let them go. They do stuff different than you.
Yep.
way different, and that's what
Different
we got to
world.
recognize. And
They
that's how
raised
they get out.
they raised with a whole set of tools that didn't exist.
Yeah,
Didn't
they coming
exist when
with
you
this
were
stuff.
children. Yeah.
And then the
But
people that got the small kids right now.
oh man. Mr. Larry, hey, he got some small ones himself. Uh,
That's right. So,
so hit him
but
with the
then
reversal. Hit him with the reversal on this one.
okay, but before we get there, I got to say this one thing. Only the weak rest on their laurels and dote on past triumphs. In the game of power, there is never time to rest. Stop looking at what you already did and living off that. It's like somebody who got the MVP in the game in high school still talking about that. You still living in your own shadow, and the sun then went ahead and set on that.
Yeah, it's over with.
All right, let me jump on down here. Ooh. See, it's a whole bunch of stuff in here, man.
Oh yeah, listen. Each one of these laws you can do 3 or 4 hours on each law.
Like I'm skipping over so much stuff I done highlighted in this chapter. Man, we'll be here about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Hey.
Four touchdowns. 4 touchdowns in one game.
I'm gonna give you some for the Al Bundy right now. We gonna get some laughter on that one. But let me get on down. Y'all got to read this chapter though. It's a lot of stuff in it. Reversal. Oh boy, man, it's goodness. Y'all missing out on this one. I'm telling you, I'm screwed. Yeah. All right. It's two things. The past often has elements worth appropriating, qualities that you would be foolish to reject out of need to distinguish yourself. So some of the stuff you need to go ahead and take.
Yep.
Don't turn it down like you talked about the inheritance. Napoleon. He talked about Napoleon Bonaparte. Used his name, the name of his grand uncle, because his grand uncle did something good. He said, "I'm Napoleon too." So he became the president.
Right.
The second thing, it is often wise to keep an eye on the young, your future rivals in power. Now, of course, the way he set it up, that the painter scoped out all the dudes that was pretty good at it, and then made them be his apprentices so he can keep them down. But you know what? That can happen to you.
Very easily.
That can happen to you.
Very easily can happen to you. You have to be mindful of that. Again, this is why so many of these chapters in this book defensive.
Yeah.
But remember this. You also have to be careful how you play that. Because remember earlier we had that one about your boy Tesla.
Yeah.
Who was
they
the
did
apprentice. And then when he tried to branch out on his own, he did things so wrong, he ended up being almost lost to history. We only know his name now because somebody else put it on the card.
Yeah. Exactly. Otherwise, you would have to be a big old nerd and know about a Tesla coil. Yeah. All that. All right, man. Y'all got to read that chapter. I'm telling you. We only went over probably about the first half or 2/3 of it. It's a whole bunch more that we didn't even touch. We didn't even touch it. But this one, 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. This one right here. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay, so this law has been used on our people every so many times.
Yeah,
they believe in this law. It works.
Yeah,
it has been used effectively on our people for the last 100 years. So if you don't think it works, if you don't think this is a real thing, and you don't think people are applying these laws every day and all the time, you just have to look at our own history in this country. Every time we get a prominent black leader, this is what happened. They strike at the shepherd.
Yeah.
And the sheep, sure enough, scatter.
So
then we end up with people, supposed leaders like Jesse James and Reverend Al Sharpton and all these kind of people who
well, we're gonna talk.
TV
We gonna see
personalities now.
how all that stuff play together. But in the judgment, which is the what do you call that thing? Not the summary.
Introduction.
There you go. There you go. Man, I'm telling you, my mind is slipping today. But trouble can often be traced to a single strong individual, the stirrer, the arrogant underling, the poisoner of goodwill. If you allow such people room to operate, others will succumb to their influence. Do not wait for the troubles they cause to multiply. Do not try to negotiate with them. They are irredeemable. Neutralize their influence by isolating or banishing them. Strike at the source of the trouble, and the sheep will scatter.
Yep. Now, this is a great chapter.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. How I was so the ostracism thing they did.
Yes, the banishment.
That was so wild. I didn't know that ever existed in history. That was
Yes.
amazing to me. I was like,
Yes.
are they really doing this?
Yes.
They was really
Yes.
out there with it. Athens, Greece was really out there with it.
Oh, because they weren't dealing with that stuff. They weren't
Right.
dealing with none of it. So if you didn't read, this is what happened in Athens. What they would do is once a year, they would get together and the people would vote on who was going to get put out.
Now, listen,
And if they
out
voted
of the
for you,
whole city, out of the entire
Everybody.
city,
everybody. And if your name came up on there too, if a particular name appeared on 6,000 ballots, the
Out of
person
there.
will be instantly exiled. You gone. I'm talking about ain't no going home to get no clothes. It ain't no let me get nope. You out immediately,
immediately. Cancel. That's the original cancel.
bruh.
They was
wasn't
canceling you
playing.
for real back then. Y'all think they cancel people now? They were, but Athens wasn't playing. They were doing, that's the real cancel culture.
But a whole decade they was gone.
Out of
So-
there.
And he goes through different people and how this stuff happened to him. Themistocles, he was arrogant, overbearing, constantly reminding the people of how he won in battle and the temples he built. But also he was saying, without me, y'all wouldn't have no city. They put him out.
Out of there.
Then right
Holla
after
at you,
him,
man.
Pericles, he wasn't being around nobody. Avoided the fate. Well, he maintained close ties with the people, but definitely he was talking noise too. Out of there.
Get out of here, my guy. Holla at you.
Hyperbolus, all he did is talk trash about people, slandered folks, and whoever he didn't like, he was like, nah, they ain't no good, talking trash about them. He got up out of there.
Out of there.
So, but that's what we need to do in our lives. That's what he's saying. Don't try to change people. If they acting up, put them out. Get them out of there.
Holla at you on the other side. Look. I just thought that was just one of the most interesting things I've read. I thought that was really cool. I didn't know people did that in history. I wonder if Athens is the only place to have ever done something like that, or has it been applied
in other places,
other times? But that was just some really, really interesting. Besides the law, which there's a lot in here about the actual law and strike the shepherd, but that was just.
But that's it.
Yeah.
One of the ways to strike the shepherd was that.
Yeah, get him out of there.
He say right here. Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, back to what they're saying is, if somebody causing a disturbance in your community, just get them out. Just kick them out.
Get them up out of there.
Yeah, we don't like you.
Get the jokers on up out of there.
Them boys had a real life dislike button.
What? Okay. Thumbs down. Right quick.
Get them up out of there.
But see, this is where people make the mistake. This part right here, it said the Athenians did not try to re-educate people who acted in these ways or absorb them into the group, or to impose a violent punishment that would only create other problems. The solution was quick and effective. Get them up out of there.
And it served as, oh, you better treat everybody with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Because if enough people, if you disrespectful and not mindful, enough people around you, you get up out of here. Find
Man,
someplace
that's
else to
it.
be.
But look what he say though. Well, hey, this person, I think that's OG right there. Do with the family and friends. Yep, for sure. But look at this. He said, don't try to re-educate them. Don't try to tell them how they can do other stuff,
Don't waste your time.
or don't even try to hang around them, or don't seek revenge. Because look, no violent punishment.
No. Just go on. Just
Get them
don't
up,
deal
get
with
them
them.
up out of there. That's all
Too
you got to
easy.
do.
Say less. Give them less attention. Get them up out of there. I just feel like that. And that's one of the. Listen, if something or someone is causing problems in your life, don't get mad. Don't get upset. Just stop dealing with them.
That's
Just
right. He
move
said.
on.
He said they grown and know right from wrong. That's right. Get
Exactly.
them up out of there. OG, get them up out of there. But so right here, he said, this is the important part. With any group, trouble can be traced to a single source. The unhappy, chronically dissatisfied one who will stir up dissension and affect the group with his or her ill ease. And no lie, we talked about this on the job.
Yep.
I ain't gonna lie. No matter how talented they is, if they acting like that,
Gotta go.
get them up out of there.
Gotta go. And as in leadership and management, we all a couple of things you would try first, see if you can change this person's attitude or the way they go about things. But 1-2 shots. That
Oh, that's
third
it.
shot you out the door.
Because it's costing you time, it's costing you money, but it also is degrading your other team, the rest of your team,
Right.
because of that. And this is the note I wrote down here to myself. You can't change people, only yourself. Can't change them folks.
And we ain't gonna change. We're just gonna get you up out of here.
Get them up out of there.
I'm fairly certain the word ostracize comes from the ostracute.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So
We got them up out of there.
got them
But
up out
I
of
mean,
there.
but I salute, get the troublemaker. And he's telling you how to tell where the troublemaker is,
Right.
how to pick it out. Right here. Learn the lesson. Do not waste time lashing out in all directions at what seems to be a many-headed enemy. Find the one head that matters. The person with the willpower, the smarts, and most important of all, the charisma. Whatever it costs you, lure this person away. For once he is absent, the powers will lose their effect. His isolation can be physical. That's the banishment. It could be political, narrowing his base of support, or psychological, alienate him from the group. And cancer begins with a single cell. Exercise it before it spreads.
Yep.
Big words. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you, man. You already know. You already know. And them people ain't acting right. Get them up out of there.
Too easy. Too easy. And I really want people to understand where we're coming from with this. Listen, almost anything, any problem you're having or dissension, they even talk about in the family. It was one of the things he talks about in your own family.
That's right.
Where the psychologist was like, I would separate the one person. Even within your family, within your household, generally dissension starts with one person. You better make sure it ain't you.
Now, what about the reverse of that? You can bring people together.
Oh, yeah.
But when you got something bring together, don't let people separate you from that. Too many people let folks separate them from their family, the people that live in their house. Once you get separated, because you are the source of power, say people congregate around a single strong personality, like planets orbiting the sun. You are that in your family.
Yep.
Don't let these folks, don't let these women, don't let these other dudes, don't let nobody pull you out of that. That's the thing. Don't let them pull you out of it, because once you get separated, everybody fall apart.
Listen.
Hey, we appreciate it. That's Uncle Larry.
Oh, there it is. You just gotta. One of the major tenets I take from this book is
Hey, my bad, man. You don't have to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
True.
You want the advice, you're gonna have to take it.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Look, it's true. It's true. You're gonna have one of the major tenets I take from this book is time management, and as far as who or what to spend time on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very, very careful and intentional about who and what you spend time on. And if something is causing a nuisance in your life, just remove it. Don't argue and fuss and fight and waste all that energy. We had a whole other law about not wasting energy on things that are too small.
Yes.
The
I like that
management
one.
of your time and energy and focus is paramount in your life. Just eliminate people from your life.
Yeah. Don't try to deal with it. You ain't got to make it happen. You're much happier without it.
I'll give you an example. You ever let somebody borrow some money and they don't pay it back, but it's a relatively small amount of money? Don't chase the people down about that money. Just think about it like this. You got rid of that person out your life.
Mm-hmm.
You got rid of that person out your life for $40, $80.
Yes. It ain't worth it.
$200. You're gonna chase somebody down about $200. You just don't have to deal with that person no more.
Here's the thing: don't lend money you ain't got. If you giving somebody something, you better expect not to get it back.
Yep.
I mean, and that's just straight up truth. That's just what it is.
Yep.
There's a part further down. Again, this one was full of stuff. If y'all seen my document, it's highlighted to death. But this part I circled, and I put management lessons. Presence and appearance have great import in the game of power. To seduce, particularly in the beginning stages, you need to be constantly present or create the feeling that you are, even if you're out of sight. If you don't, the charm will wear off. Bronx Tale. You remember you paid him to stay out of your life. Yep.
That's it. Got rid of the guy for $20.
There you go.
Too easy.
But what I'm saying though is this: you got to be there. And I'm leaning back on what I was saying earlier about us and our families.
Yes.
You got to be there. He just said it. Presence and appearance are important. Then he said, first, your absence from the court spells danger for you. You should never leave the scene in time of turmoil, for your absence can symbolize and induce a loss of power. And second, on the other hand, luring your enemies away from the court at critical moments is a great ploy. Okay, if you're doing that. But you got to be there. As the leader in your house, you need to be there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying don't let your wife or your significant other handle stuff, because they can. But you need to be there. Stop leaving your house so much. You're leaving the gate undefended.
You need to play some whistle. Play the horns on that one, man.
Oh.
They got to learn something.
You're leaving the gate undefended. I'm telling you. You can't. Yep, this from earlier. See, there you go. I've been taught by older folks, never lend out what you miss.
If I can't give it to you, I can't lend it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
There's got to be an amount that I could. If I don't never get it back, it ain't gonna bother me.
That's right. But don't go giving folks your last. If you know you got to go buy some food, I ain't gonna feed your house and not feed my house.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, we gonna get some stuff y'all can come over and eat. That way ain't nobody that pay nobody back.
It's old tenant. A man must have his own house in order.
That's right. That's right.
So Doc, what's your final? Like if you was trying to break this chapter down real quick for somebody?
Okay.
How would you do that?
I would just say exercise the demons. You You need to do an exorcism on your life, while at the same time not letting things and people do an exorcism on you. Dang, I'm gonna write that. Boy, hold on.
Hey,
We're gonna talk about that one on Sunday.
yeah, you got to hold that one, Doc. That was a good one.
We're gonna talk about that one on Sunday.
That might be your sermon this week, right there, Doc.
Oh, why you playing? Yeah.
Yeah, that might be your sermon right there. That was a good one. That was deep. Yeah, you told him something just now. Man,
Okay.
I don't even want to follow that. I thought I was going to say something. I ain't got nothing to say. I told y'all what to do. Look, man, look. We on law. We all the way to law 42. We got 6 more laws.
Yeah.
You know, we getting ready to post up what book
That's about
we're
3
going to
weeks.
go to next.
Yeah. Let me write them down, because I know we talk. Let's talk, because we got some people watching so they can know what we talking about here.
Right. We're getting ready to get ready. We're trying to figure out what book we're going to do next. Some of the ones we've mentioned, The Superior Man, The Last Man in Babylon, or The Richest Man in Babylon.
The Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man in
which
Babylon.
is a short book. It ain't that long. So
what was the other one?
Battle Cry from Jason Wilson.
Yep. Battle Cry. And we also taking suggestions.
Well, OG said Art of War.
Yeah, Art of War and Will.
Yeah, in the Will Smith book. There's a lot of lessons in that too.
Right. So that's the 5 that we are considering. But if you got any suggestions, you know, you got 3 more weeks. Make your suggestions. Yeah,
and I got to remember, I'm gonna put a poll up in the group, so that way people can, if they scrolling by and see it, they can vote on it. And if they don't, it's all good, man, because we're gonna pick one of them books, and no matter which one we pick, we're gonna pull some stuff out of it. It's gonna be some stuff to change your life, especially Superior Man, boy. Woo.
That's a good one right there. That's my personal pick, because but also I want to do some of the other ones because I haven't read them. Oh,
all right. We got one here. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I read that book. I read that book before. So we can throw that one on the list. See, y'all gonna make us have 2 different book studies, and that's gonna be y'all gonna try to make me have to read a whole bunch of stuff.
but that's what we doing here at the Book of Man. We trying to give men the tools to do better for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If we can help you with your literary endeavors and give you some knowledge out of those books to increase what you can do on a daily basis to take care of yourself and your family. If we can do that with your finances, your intentional movements throughout life, that's what we're here to do. It's what we believe in here. That's what we promote here. And it's going to take time, energy on our half, and we're willing and ready to give it.
Oh, yeah, man. It's there. Everything going to be there. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of knowledge ready to go out. That's why we studying these books. It's a lot of stuff in these books. And, you know, if you don't like to read, it's all good. You can get the audio book. And if you ain't got time for that, it's all good. Just tune in and we'll all talk about it. You can ask your questions, say your statement. It don't matter. I just want y'all to get it.
Doc, when the next follow up on the credit and everything? What's going on? What's the
next time?
Oh
man, okay. Last week we talked about personal cash flow. You can go back and watch that replay. I think I may go up and do it again, just to kind of get some clarity on that. Not next week, but the week after, I should be ready to go. We're going to talk about fixing our credit. We're going to go do that. We're going to take one step at a time. I'm not a credit expert. I'm not. So, but I do my own research, and we're going to all do it together. Save us some money.
Anybody in the group, if it's a credit expert that wants to come on, please, get a hold of them. Get in touch with myself or Doc, and we will set that up. We want everybody to be involved. Like I said, we don't know. Neither one of us know it all. But I think cumulative, we have enough knowledge here in this group to help each other be successful.
That's right. All right, man. You ready?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for watching us, man. We enjoyed another episode of Book of Man, the book study. We're going to wrap this thing up for y'all over the next few weeks. We love y'all. We out.
Later.